I have another book haul to share with you, but I only spent like $6 total on all of these books, so it's okay. I'm going to start with the books I paid for. The first one is An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth by Chris Hadfield, which I have wanted to read for a very long time. It has been on my wish list for so long. I'm pretty sure it was like the first thing that I put on my Amazon wish list and is pretty far down on my Goodreads want to read list as well. And I saw it at a used bookstore in hardcover in great shape. So I got it. I paid like $4 for it, I think. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm not big on memoirs or like nonfiction in general, but there are some that I'm interested in and some that I have enjoyed. And I think this will be one of those ones that I like. The next book that I paid money for was To Capture What We Cannot Keep by Beatrice Collin. It has a very pretty cover. This is what drew me to it. And then I started reading the synopsis and almost put it back because it started in a way that normally makes me go, ugh. Which is, in February 1886, pretty much anytime it starts with telling me the year, I'm immediately less interested. I don't know why, because there are lots of period fiction that I've enjoyed. So I don't know. But I decided to keep reading, because I was like, stop judging it off of the first 3 words. And it sounds really sweet. It's about a woman who, is not married, and she's too old to not be married, and a bunch of silly things. And she meets, I'm going to say, a charming man. I don't know. I'm going to say he's charming. On a hot air balloon. Don't know the situation of why they're both on a hot air balloon separately, but we'll find that out when we read. And then turns out he is one of the people who is working on the project of building the Eiffel Tower. And I hope they fall in love. And obviously the Eiffel Tower gets built. But anyway, it sounds really sweet. So all the rest of the books I basically just traded for. One of my favorite used bookstores, which is a huge bookstore and actually gives pretty decent credit. It's also probably the most expensive used bookstore I've ever been to, but because they also give really decent credit, it's really easy to still not spend money there if you have a lot of books that you don't need to keep. I have never spent money at this bookstore. And I got some books. I actually got to visit this bookstore twice this month, which is super rare because it's not close to me, but there were some opportunities that arose, and I was able to visit it twice and use my credit, and then also bring books in to build onto my credit. Anyway, I'll show you the books that I got. From my first visit there this month, I got Tess of the Road by Rachel Hartman, which is the first book in the series, but also the third book in another series. And I have not read the other series, but I think it'll be fine. My friend also got this book, so we're going to read it together. I also got A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kemmerer, which I think is funny because I read A Curse So Dark and Lonely 5 years ago, I think. Yeah. I actually remember bringing it to my friend's New Year's Eve gathering because I wasn't done it yet. And it was the end of the year and I needed to finish it before the end of the year. And it was when 2019 turned into 2020. So yeah, just over 5 years ago I read it. And I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I adored so much about it. I had no interest in reading the next book, though. Because all the things that I loved about it I knew were not going to be present in the next book. Because, like, all the things that happened in the first book to create the story they couldn't happen again. Like, there was, like, a new story that was going to continue, basically, with the same characters, but, like, new problems have arisen. Arose. Doesn't matter. And I don't know, I wasn't super interested in it. Even though the first one had like a cliffhanger-y ending, so it didn't really work as a standalone, I was happy with just reading the one book. But this was there. And basically free for me. And in hardcover, so it matches the first one that I have. So I got it. And you know what? I'm probably going to like it. But anyway, the first book in the series is A Loose Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it's someone from, like, our world who gets taken into a magical fantasy world, and I just loved the characters and the relationships and the way that they grew to know each other and trust each other, and the friendship that she has with the person who's not the love interest, and yeah, so anyway. And then I got The Scribbly Man by Terry Goodkind. I actually don't know if it's Good Kind or Goodkind. Like, I would want to say Good Kind, but because it's a name, maybe it's not. Someone can correct me if they would like. I literally just got it because it's pretty and it's called The Scribbly Man. I know nothing about it. I've never read anything from this author before. Ooh, but also, look at the back. It says, "We have all caught fleeting glimpses of them. The monster under the bed, the dark shadow just out of sight, the knot of unexpected terror in the pit of your stomach." Intriguing. Now, all the books that I got on my second trip there. First book I got was The Dark and Hollow Places by Carrie Ryan, which is the third book in the Forest of Hands and Teeth trilogy. This was one of the first book series that I read when I first started really getting into reading the way that I am now, but I borrowed them from my mom's school library. So I've been trying to find the trilogy so that I can have them for my bookshelf because I really enjoyed these, and they have like a nice place in my memory. Like I remember reading them with fondness. So I would like to have my own copies, and this is the third one and the last one that I needed, and now I have the whole trilogy on my shelf. Hooray! Which this is about zombies. I got The Space Between Stars by Anne Corlett, which this is basically like the beginning of like an apocalyptic pandemic story, but in space. So that sounds fun. Why not? I got The Wild Ones by Nafisa Azad, which it was this cover that drew me to it. It's just about someone who runs away and she meets this boy who gives her a box of stars. And it helps her go into this like magical world where she helps save other girls like her. And then she runs into the boy who gave her the box of stars again, and he needs help because he's being chased by magical evil things. And then I got Truth Witch, Wind Witch, and Blood Witch by Susan Dennard. I am not usually one to buy more than one book in a series before reading the first one. I have done it sometimes, or like I've read the first book and then gone and bought like the rest of the series. I've done that. But I very rarely buy more than one book in a series without having read the first one. But they were all there, and they're all in like perfect condition in these newer, more gorgeous covers, in my opinion, and they all match. So I figured, why not? I'm not paying money for these. I'm just trading books. If I don't like them, I feel like I've lost nothing. And if I like them, I already have them and I can keep reading them whenever I want, and they'll look beautiful on my shelf next to each other. Look at that. So yeah. I don't really know what this is about, witches with different powers. And the last book that I got is The Measure by Nikki Erlich. Which is about one day, everyone wakes up and finds a box on their porch with a string in it. And everyone's strings are different lengths. And all these scientists look at them and figure things out. And they all figure out that it basically is equal to how much of your life you have left. And it's just about the world spiraling after finding this out. Everybody knowing how much life they have left because of this string that has randomly shown up on their doorstep. So that sounded cool. My friend who I went to the bookstore with has read this, and she said it was awesome. So pretty excited to read this at some point. That's all I have for you. Those are all the books that I got recently without spending any money, except for the first two that I got at a used bookstore that doesn't give store credit. And I hope you enjoyed watching me show you my books. If you got any books recently that you're excited about, let me know what they are in the comments. Otherwise, I hope you're having a good day. Gherkin does too. Gherkin, look at the camera. Look. Look up here. Gherkin, look. He doesn't care.